1986.
All right, we're reacting to a serial killer who watched his own movie. Let's get into
The
it.
body of
Let me. Oh, what? What the?
On
Oh,
September
hold on.
19th, 1986, the body of a 71-year-old woman was discovered half naked by the side of a road. The police immediately assumed that she had died from a hit and run, but further autopsy revealed that she was sexually assaulted and strangled to death. Unfortunately, she was just the first. This would be the start of South Korea's worst criminal case, with a 33-year manhunt and even a movie just to figure out what the killer looked like. A movie that the serial killer eventually ended up watching for himself.
Walk in.
This is
ahead.
Inspector Park.
All
He's
right.
one of the 4 main detectives in this movie, and he's currently on his way to the first crime
I've seen
scene.
this movie.
He finds the first body in the fields outside a
low-key, I
small
may
Korean
have.
town. The naked bound body is in a concrete-covered trench with local children nearby. Inspector Park doesn't know it yet, but this will be the most grueling, intense, and emotionally exhausting investigation of his life. And almost immediately after, he reviews a line of suspects for the first murder. A second victim is reported in a rice field. The crime scene isn't roped off. The forensics team arrives late, with civilians, reporters, and even children standing next to the dead body. Then to make matters worse, a tractor runs over an important piece of evidence. Looking at the body, you can see that the hands and feet are tied up, as well as the bizarre fact that she's wearing her underwear over her head. Quickly after her death, the movie establishes a line of suspects for us to look from. So let's take a look at the 3 suspects that are presented in this film.
The movie, they didn't even know who really was doing it.
Kwang Ho is described as the mentally disabled kid of the area. It was reported that on the night of the second murder, he was following the victim, and as a result, he's quickly taken in for interrogation. During the interrogation, he's physically abused by the detectives, and eventually, they somehow squeeze out a confession out of him. Soon, they report
Didn't they
to the
say
media
he's
and report that Kwang Ho was
obviously
the killer.
like?
They then bring him to a reenactment scene with the media present, but it's very clear that he's not the killer. Remember how the victim was tied up? Kwang Ho has a physical web hand deformity, which makes him physically incapable of doing so. The police also blamed him for being disabled, citing his hate for women stemming from his disability. The craziest part about this is that it actually happened in real life. This is the real-life innocent man who was convicted in 1989 at age 22. He served 20
Off topic, but he looks like that one dude off that one, like, I don't know, like Korean TV show or something like that, where they trapped him in a room and like days, and like he had like could talk to nobody, and he had to like make money off of calling people off the phone.
years in prison and was tortured into confessing after the 8th murder. The police had tortured him for hours, preventing him from sleeping and eating. And the worst part is that they blamed him because he was disabled. From a young age, Yoon
Makes no
Seung-yoon
sense.
had polio. His mother had died in a car accident in middle school, and his father was a gambling addict. He didn't come from an educated background, so he didn't know how to fight.
I know it's a different country though. Do they do the same thing?
20 years later, when the killer was discovered, Yoon was exonerated the year after. And his story is even repeated in the second suspect. Let's talk about Jo Byung-sun. At this point, the police already had 3 murders on their hands, and unfortunately,
they're just grasping at straws.
For a 4th. A woman who was supposed to be meeting her husband by the factory was chased down and met the same fate as the first 2 victims. And again, as history repeats itself, the crime scene is littered with incompetent people. At this point, the police officers still have nothing. They have no idea what the killer looks like, and no idea of what the motive could be. Fortunately, they were able to catch a glimpse of a man who is having a little too much fun at the crime scene a couple nights after the murder.
Ugh! Bro. Why is this the only scene that he played noise?
Now, while the innocent man wasn't an actual gooner, similar to the innocent man, the second suspect was tortured into giving a confession. He's held for so many miserable nights that at this point, confessing is the only way out. In the movie, we also see protesters outside the police station protesting against his torture, which is representative of the actual political climate in Korea in the 80s. In total,
this was Korea?
The police investigated over 21,000 people, 4 of which killed
I probably wasn't
themselves
listening.
after confessing and being tortured by the police. The South Korean police force faced an immense amount of pressure from the public.
Damn,
to
this
catch
is
the
South
killer.
Korea?
At the time of the innocent man's imprisonment, 8 people had been grossly murdered in the span of 2 years, and the police still had no real leads. As a result, a great deal of South Korean society had great anger towards the police. And this might put into context why the police were so harsh and so insistent on getting confessions. Because at the time, all that was needed for a prosecution was a confession. So if the police were able to beat it out of someone, they would. Despite this, a witness likely saw the actual killer's face near the crime scene of the 7th murder. The police then used this description.
I've been
to
the
come up
murder,
with this
bro.
poster. Wait, hold on. Wait.
What?
Not that one. Where is it? Oh, that's Michael. Oh, here. Okay. This is the poster that they used.
Oh,
And they
shoot.
asked the public if they had any information regarding the crime, or if they saw the man that you're about to see in a moment. They reported that he was between the ages of 24 and 27, around 165 to 170 centimeters, and possessing these key traits on his hands. And after
They know his
everything-
hands.
everything, this is what they came up with. This is what he looks like, which honestly I think is so bad. Like who actually, that could be anyone. That could be like half the people in this movie. I don't. The third suspect in this film is Park Hyung-woo.
Like, for real,
who's an
but,
educated
like,
factory worker.
that still
and a former
helps.
soldier. If you look closely, you'll notice that he's made to look different from everyone else in this movie. If you compare the youngness of his face, the difference in his clothing, and the fact that he looks like he doesn't belong in the rural countryside. This was all made intentional by Bong Joon-ho, and it's all used as another device to change the way you think about the character. But let's look at the other facts that make him so suspicious. Throughout the film, there are a series of patterns that are consistent with all the murders. They were all killed
This
at
pizza
night.
banging.
All of them were killed while it was raining, and all of them were killed when a specific rare
Yeah,
song
how I know when it's gonna
was
have-
playing on the radio.
We got
A
domain
rare
expansion?
song in which only one person was requesting to the radio. So every single murder on these seemingly random days had the same song playing that's requested by this man. At this point, the detectives are sure that this is the killer. But the thing is, requesting a specific song on a radio is not enough grounds to prosecute. And when he doesn't let up, they have to resort to DNA evidence. But South
Wait, so they
Korea
didn't
doesn't
torture
have
him?
this technology yet. So they'll have to wait and let him go while they wait for the results.
Damn.
Yet somewhat predictably, during the wait, another person dies, and it's a middle school girl. At the same time, the results are
This is all that happened in real life.
and it's revealed that it's not a match. But the police have nothing. This is the best that they got. I mean, every single murder was correlated with the song. And this was the guy who requested the song. But since the DNA is not a match, they're forced to let
Yo,
him go.
Are they serious? This is the best they could
Police
do?
are left with what they started with. Absolutely nothing.
I forget what
All of
year
the
this
long
was.
nights of chasing suspects, all of the false leads that they followed, an exhaustive indexing of all the men in the region. This was their guy, but at the same time, they couldn't prove it. This will cause the investigators to stop at a complete dead end, much like real
Right.
life. The murders weren't even solved when the movie was released in 2003.
Oh, okay.
It explains the famous final shot of the movie, where Inspector Park breaks the fourth wall and is looking directly at the killer's face. Because Bong knew the killer could still be out there and watching the movie, but he was watching. Let's talk about the actual killer and how he was caught. Near the end of 2019, almost exactly 33 years after
Oh,
the first
shit,
murder,
who the f-
modern DNA analysis identified this man as the actual killer. The DNA was
Oh.
analyzed from the underwear of one of the victims that matched with his. At the time he was identified, he was already serving a life sentence in a prison in Busan for the rape and murder of his sister-in-law. When he was interrogated, he initially denied the
what?
allegations for over a week. So the police, instead of using their aggressive tactics like the 80s, brought in a young female investigator so he'd be open. Over 9 rounds of interrogation later, he finally confessed when he was confronted with irrefutable DNA evidence from the 5th, the 7th, and the 9th murders. And to double confirm,
how many
the
people
police
did he
had him reveal
kill?
details about the crimes, and he perfectly described parts of the crime scenes and positions of the victims' bodies that weren't revealed publicly. And so this is what he would have looked like during the murders, and this is what he looks like today. So now you finally found me. I was surprised I wasn't caught earlier. I knew this day would come. I am the real killer. But what's even more crazy is that he admitted to over 30 other sexual assaults, which makes the total 45 victims for this one person. And to call him a person is almost too much of a compliment. He reported that he saw Memories of Murder, the film about his killings, in prison. A film which showed the intense detriment that he had on people's lives. All the innocent people whose lives changed forever. The pain of the families of the victims that he harmed. And his reaction to witnessing all of this, I felt nothing.
Crazy video, bro.